Everyone, welcome back to our fifth and last video in our series on fussy eating. Now this one is about, can there be any other reasons why your children may be fussy eaters?
Yeah, we were thinking there may be some hidden reasons why a child doesn't want to eat. There can be digestive problems, can't there, that we haven't really thought about. Some children have always had some kind of digestive distress going on inside.
Gas and bloating.
Yeah, and they haven't known that this is actually abnormal. They may well think everybody has that when they eat. And sometimes parents are thinking, why are they not eating?
Yeah.
And they can have these things that they haven't been able to tell us about.
Yeah, and digestive issues are actually more common than we think, and we don't talk about it because who talks about their digestion? Nobody. I think we're all considered to be hypochondriacs when we just start talking about our digestion and gas and bloating and constipation. So just bear that in mind, how much are you talking about your issues? So your children take your cues from you, so they may not tell you that they've got gas and bloating and cramps going on.
Especially if they think it's normal.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, the food intolerances are on the rise, aren't they, everywhere? Because the processed food that we're all subjected to now, we have said before that the body doesn't always know how to handle it.
Yeah, it's actually looking at these additives and preservatives as foreign invaders, so it actually triggers the immune system, and that's what can cause food allergies.
Yeah.
So another thing to bear in mind, has your child any food allergies or food intolerances? Wheat is, for example, a very common food intolerance. I'm suffering from that.
Yeah, and I think wheat is one of the ones that's the most interesting, because we often find that people think they eat wheat in moderation. And then when we look at what people are eating, we find that they may well be having cereal and toast at breakfast, a sandwich at lunchtime, and then
pasta in the evening.
Pasta or pizza in the evening.
Yeah, that's too much wheat.
And that's
for
wheat at every meal.
Anybody. I mean, really, even a healthy person who can tolerate wheat, that's too much.
It is too much, and I think all of us have been programmed to eat like that, especially with our cereal and our toast and then our sandwich.
It's also the cheapest food in the supermarket, isn't it? Pasta is so cheap, and bread is cheap.
Yeah, but if you think that is overload of wheat, isn't it? When we eat to that extent,
our body can't handle it, because wheat at the end of the day is very sticky and gluey in our digestive tract. Yeah. So it may be crispy when we eat it, but then it turns into glue. Yeah. So and some people are better than others at handling this glue.
Yeah, and I think wheat has things in it that are irritants.
Oh, additives and preservatives
for the whole of the intestinal tract. Even the most natural organic wheat in the world, you don't want to be eating it 3 times a day. No. So for some children, cutting down on the amount of wheat does help their digestion, and there can be something hidden. And I think wheat's the first, processed foods first, isn't it, to attack?
Processed foods in general.
Processed food first, look how much the children are eating. Then how much wheat are they eating? And then the next one
is dairy. Cow's dairy,
milk
people,
products.
My daughter is lactose intolerant, and I had a suspicion, but only with time, now she's nearly 28, it really got confirmed that she's got lactose intolerance. So just, again, another thing to be aware of, how does your child react to cow's milk cheese?
Yeah, and I think for some children, they can tolerate a small amount of dairy, maybe a sprinkling of grated cheese here and there, but cheese at every meal, or yogurt at every meal, or lots of milkshakes, drinks of milk, that might be too much for your child's digestion.
Or can you imagine, if your child is intolerant to wheat and dairy, then macaroni cheese might be...
And cheese sandwiches. It's quite common that children love cheese sandwiches.
So...
It's about thinking carefully, do they have a problem with that, isn't it, really? But you were saying earlier, Sabina, that there are herbs and spices that can help with the digestion.
Yeah, well, herbs and spices in general help in one way or the other with digesting our food better. Ginger, for example, is a brilliant one for any digestive issues, like whether it's lack of appetite, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, you name it. So I always encourage people to add more ginger if possible. Fresh ginger is the best for anybody. And again, start with tiny amounts, because again, you need to get used to the pungent
flavour. Yeah, not everybody would like the ginger.
Yeah. But once you're used to it, I love ginger nowadays. But you know, it took some getting used to it.
And I think all the herbs and spices we talked about in our last video, that would all help, wouldn't it, with digestion?
Yeah, cinnamon, Mediterranean spices.
And eating the vegetables we talked about, whether they're roast vegetables or the stir-fried vegetables.
Yeah.
With the meat, something that's very much getting back to what our grandparents ate with their meat and 2-veg, because then it's not processed, it's not full of wheat, it's not full of dairy. It's about not going overboard with the wheat, the dairy, but introducing those new flavourings.
And then also, like if you have any problems, if you notice that your child is having problems with wheat, buckwheat is not a grain, it's a pseudo grain, and is well tolerated by most people. So it's very easy to just substitute any
just
pasta
cook with buckwheat instead.
Yeah, buckwheat flour, buckwheat pasta, buckwheat noodles. It's all available. It may cost a little bit more, but actually, at the end of the day, if your child is feels better because it doesn't have so much wheat, and actually you will feel better too. I bet you will.
Or you just avoid the flour products. If you're not using buckwheat, just give them some eggs. Give them some eggs instead.
So.
And the other aspect, of course, isn't just what we eat, is it? It's about movement as well.
Yes.
Are our children moving enough? I know for sure lots of children love to sit in front of the video games, which is absolutely fine. But are they walking to school? Are they getting some exercise during school time? Are they getting exercise at weekends? Keeping the digestion moving does depend on us moving ourselves.
Yeah, especially when your child has constipation a lot, just bear that in mind. Herbs and spices, again, help with constipation. And also make sure meal times are relaxed times, because stress really interferes massively with our capacity to break down the food well. So if we are stressed in any way, our stomach is going to be tense, it's not going to be able to do the churning motion as easily, our stomach acid levels go down. It has huge repercussions on our digestive
and it does, doesn't it? Because the stomach acid, it sounds funny that we have acid in us, doesn't it? But we have quite strong acid in us in order to break down the food. You can sort of imagine it, can't you? Breaking it down so that we can put it into our bodies properly.
And also bear in mind that most people have low stomach acid levels, like acid reflux can be caused by too little stomach acid, and just the way when we have too little stomach acid, it just makes the food sit in the stomach too long, and that actually puts pressure up on the esophagus, and that's what causes acid reflux in 90% of people. Not too much stomach acid, so don't be
don't be afraid of the word, the stomach acid. But like you were saying, Sabina, we do need to relax while we're eating, and I think as adults we can model this for our children, can't we? It's about eating mindfully, so not just throwing it all in while we watch TV, even though it's nice to relax and watch TV while you eat. It is very nice to eat slowly and to chew properly. And many people will say to me, I forgot about chewing. But you really need to chew each mouthful, because that breaks down the food so that we release all those vitamins and minerals and proteins from it when it's in the stomach.
And it actually takes less energy out of our digestive system when we start, digesting it here in the mouth first. Because that is actually the start of our digestive system. It is the start,
and we don't want the gas bloating and cramps. No. And if we break down the food properly from the start, and this benefits us as adults, doesn't it? It's not just for the children.
No, the whole family will actually benefit from this.
And I think the only other thing I want to say about this is we need to be patient with the children, because if they do have some kind of digestive issue, or they have had one in the past and they're a little bit scared about what the food will do.
That can be another thing.
Telling them off for not eating won't help.
Food anxiety, can be another trigger.
So it's yet another place where I think as parents we just need to be patient with our children.
So, and just observe, how does your child feel, after a meal, does it feel tired, does it feel that there's something heavy in the stomach,
maybe
that
start to talk about it with them.
Talk about how you
and maybe sit for a little bit. I don't believe in making children stay at the table after a meal, they're happy to, you know, I'm happy for them to go off and play, but just be careful that they are taking some time to let that digestion work.
Yeah.
They're still relaxed. They're not getting rushed into changing their clothes, putting the shoes on and going out.
Yeah. Avoid stress, really stress, even after the meal, you know, because our stomach is still doing its churning motion. You know, you don't want to interrupt the washing machine.
Yeah. Rest
in the
and
middle
digest.
of the program. Yes,
Rest and digest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another reason to be patient with them.
Yeah.
Because
And
telling
just
them off.
use the
work
time
well.
wisely, you know, like 15 minutes. It's all it takes, you know, just like have another chat, you know.
Yeah.
And it's also good for yourself, you know, for your own digestion.
Yeah.
What benefits your children is also going to benefit you and vice versa. So it's really a positive feedback.
And that family
loop.
mealtime thing is quite nice to talk to the children, get them talking to you.
Yeah.
Just gives the family time to come back together, doesn't it? So, yeah, that's great.
That's it, really.
That's it for this series,
I think,
isn't it? On Fussy Eating. But
I
do
think
feel
we've
free to
given you,
contact us.
a lot of material, you know, to
Yeah.
think about.
Give us a message if you want us to talk more about any particular aspect.
And get in touch, you know, if we can help in any way.
Yeah.
We offer one-to-one work.
Yeah.
And we can also work with whole families at the same time.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.